Welcome to Growing Home Acres. I'm back working on Sarah's house. We're in the kitchen area. She has ordered her cabinets. Now, if you look at this and you see bare walls, no electric, no plumbing, no anything, you think, well, hold on, why'd she order cabinets? She's not ready for cabinets yet. Well, without knowing exactly what you're doing with the cabinets, how can you put in the electric and the plumbing and everything else? The biggest thing we have to put in is we have to put in a window. So we have a window. That's this. So this window goes approximately here. So what I'm going to do this morning is I'm just going to hit record. I'm going to record everything I'm going to do. I've got my miter box set up. I've got my compressor set up. So that'll kick on and disrupt narration. So what I'll try to do is I'll try to narrate in between. And I promised a window tutorial. Now, on these tiny houses, the windows are different than, not the windows, the window installation is a little bit different than like in a regular house. In a regular house, as you were framing the wall, you would just frame up the window opening, stand the wall up, and then there's the window. That's not the case in this. Now, and there may be other noise. I have an air conditioner running, blowing out the door because I don't have any windows in this room yet. No insulation. It's going to be 90-some degrees today. So we have the layout for the cabinets. We have the lower layout. There's going to be a 36-inch Lazy Susan right here in the corner. Then there's going to be a 36-inch sink base. So what I have to do is I have to come off of this wall, 36 plus a ½ inch for the drywall. That's where my sink base is going to start. And then we have I can't remember now if this was a 36-inch window or a 30. Yeah. So it's a 30-inch wide window. So I need to make sure that when I lay out these cabinets, that I lay out the Lazy Susan and then the sink base, get them marked on the floor where they're going to be, and then split that sink base so this window is installed in the center. So I'm going to get started on that, and I'll just let the camera run as I'm going once I'm completely set up, and I'll just let it go. And we may edit it down to a ½ hour. This might be a long form video depending on how interesting I am. If I'm not interesting, it'll be shorter, right? So you'll get to see this kind of in real time as I put this in, as I get this window put in. All right, thank you. Okay, so the first thing I have to do other than coffee, is I have to figure out exactly where this window is going. So, we have the drawings that the cabinet supplier supplied Sarah with. Everything's computerized. We have a refrigerator over there, and then the cabinets come to here. That Lazy Susan comes off the wall 36 inches. Now, like I said, it cannot be 36 inches. It has to be 36 and a half. So we get 36 and a half on the wall. Then we come over here, line up. Then we mark 36. That's your Lazy Susan. This is your sink base. Now, with the sink base, now we need to figure out what's got to come out. The window has to split the sink base. So half of 36 is 18. The window is 30 wide. So now we got to split 15. So our window So our window is going to start here. So this stud and this double have to come out. Now, under normal circumstances, in a normal construction, if this wall was built and we went, we're going to put a window in here, and we had all kinds of weight up on top, we would build a temporary wall in here to hold these trusses up. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this stud out, and I'm going to move it over here. So it's going to go right back in before I take this double out. And it's actually going to go an inch and a half past where the window's going to start, because I have to put in support. I have to put a cripple in to hold the header up. So now we can make some noise with tools that are outside. Be right back. Different. There's one oddball screw in the upper plate. I don't know why it's there. But nothing surprises me with these buildings. I would imagine they had trouble lining these two plates up, because there's a screw over here too. So it looks like they might have screwed it together just to make sure that it... Oh yeah, look at that. All right. We're going to leave that in. Man, it's different. So on this building, which came not too long after the first building, the trusses are lag bolted through the double top plate. And I'm going to have to walk into the other building now, because now I'm curious. I didn't see any screws in that top double plate to hold those trusses on, but I suppose it's just... Look at that. So that's an added measure of strength. I like that. They are lag bolted, looks like with 5-inch lags, up through the bottom of the double top plate to hold the trusses in place. Never seen that. So you learn something new every day. Or maybe every other day, depends on how hard you work. So we'll pull this stud out, move it over, get it fastened back in. to have to put a lower cripple in here to support the bottom of this window. And I don't want to leave any open holes in that exterior siding. But this ensures if I move this stud over, if I only take one out at a time, I don't have any sag in that part of the roof, if there is weight, which I know because I've been working on this building. There's no weight up there. Had to go find an actual adult size hammer. And we get to show you a trick first thing this morning on what to do with a crooked 2x4. So I've had friends ask me, you're working with wood, why do you carry a pipe wrench? Here's why. So this 2x4 twists as it goes up. You don't want to leave that. So you take a pipe wrench, put a pipe wrench on there, and you twist, and it straightens it right out. So you just got to make sure that you got your plumb. That's where I want it. I want it right there. Get your front nail in. Make sure you're tight. And then you can get a visual on the back. Put a nail in the back. Providing you've got quality wood, which apparently I don't have. Apparently I don't have. You can get it straightened out. So we'll chalk that up to the first failed tutorial of the morning. Sometimes you just gotta wing it. Alright, so there's the stud for that side of the window. So what we're going to do, let's see, got to check and see how tall our header is. So the height of our window, 6 3/4, that's our header height. The installed height of the window is 36 inches. This is where the bottom of the window is going to be, in your bottom plate. All right. Now, because I have not been on this job site in 3 weeks, I have to find tools. Okay, so the lighting's not real good because it was too hot to do anything today. So I stopped. So we're gonna get back at it. So I need to put one more stud in before I cut this. That's my 30-inch window. So I got to cut a 2x4 at 88 7/8. I believe that's the length. Better double check. Yeah, 88 7/8 length. Now I need to make a header. It's got to be 33 inches. Because my rough opening is 30. So I got to make a 33-inch header out of 2x4. 66. Pull nails out of that one stud, and there's nothing worse than kneeling. Nothing worse than kneeling on a nail. So what we're making here 2x4 box header. This will give all the strength we need to keep this window from crushing down. Just line it up. Make sure the edges are flush. You always want to keep your fingers out of the way in case that happens. Nothing worse than having your hand right here and having that nail pop out, go right in your thumb. You do not want that to happen. So, now, our box header, the height of our box header is 6.5 inches. So, we're going to come down off the bottom of the top plate. 6.5 inches. And that gives us our cripple height. Which is 82 3/8. 82 3/8 was actually the cripple height in the other room. Imagine that. That's all it's saying. When we put in the two windows that go on that wall, it'll be the same. I haven't worked in here for like 3 weeks, so I gotta brush up on my measurements. 82 3/8. So the height of our window is 36 inches. So our plate's going to go right there. Our bottom plate. The window's going to be higher here because you've got a countertop. So you want the window as high as you can put it in the wall to make sure that the window doesn't run into your sink, which we've double checked that here, so we know that's okay. So we know, oh, look at that. This is where the plate comes across. Now I have to have a bottom plate on here. So this stud has to be cut 1.5 inches lower. I could cut the top, cut the bottom, take the whole thing out, but I've already got a cripple here. It's on the layout. May as well be left. Leading again. So, we want to measure down. 1.5 inches. Because that's how thick our bottom plate is. That's about perfect. Now, cutting most of it with the skill saw. And then it won't be so bad when I go through it with the Sawzall, which I assume you have misplaced. Don't think. Cut those nails on top. And none of these pieces that I'm cutting out will go to waste, because every one of them will get cut down for smaller cripples, backing, things like that. So now we've got that clear. Put this cripple in. Losing air. Do you have to put headers in that tight? No. But because we have two trusses that come down right there, you want it snug. You don't want it just flopping around loose up there and you got to throw a bunch of shims in. And then it's, you know, hey, you worrying that you're going to have a sagging roof. I don't like that. And it's flush, or not flush, it's level, which tells me the whole room is level, which is nice because the other room I had to jack up, and I don't have to do that with this one. So let's get this header nailed in, toenail it in. It ain't going no place. Now, if we did this right, we're 37.5 inches down. We need 36 for that window. So now, I need a bottom plate, 30 1/4. We're going to do a 30 1/8, and we're going to try and suck it in a little bit. Again, this is why you stay out of the way of the gun. There was a knot there, and he kicked it sideways. So, before we go any further, take the 2-foot level. We set it up here, and we look for level. Very close. There we go. Now we're level. So after we take that, we take our speed square and we check for square in the corners. It is rough framing, but it's windows. So you want to make sure when you set the window in there that the window will go in square so it will open and close. All right, so now we should be on our layout right here, 16 inches. So let's go back a couple. 32, 48. We'll go up here. And of course, set the level right. 16, 32, 48. That's where our cripple goes. That one's right on our layout. We're on our way out there. So we need one cripple here. We need that at 44 3/4. Just a hair light. So I don't know if I've talked about measurements. My measurement is 44 3/4 light. Four sixteenths is a quarter. 8 sixteenths is a half. 12 sixteenths is 3/4. But if you just say, if you're working with somebody and you want to tell them what light and heavy, what your measurement is, and you holler out 44 3/4 light, they will know that you want it 1/16 less than 44 3/4. It's just communication. If you do it heavy, it's a 1/16 heavier. And then you don't have to worry that you shout out 44 5/16 when you meant 44 7/16. It's just for ease. And then tomorrow, when we cut this plywood out to put the window in the daylight, we'll nail the plywood back on. Wait for that compressor to get done. This is a very unnecessary step. But it's one that I always do. Every time I frame an opening for a window, I take the window, and I stick it in place. Now I know when I go outside and I cut that plywood out and I go to put this window in from the outside, it's going to fit in this hole. It's not only going to fit in the hole, but I'm going to have to shim it very little to make it level. So when it goes in, we'll make sure that we've got little shims here. Somebody will stand on the inside and hold the window, and then somebody else, after we have window, heavy-duty window silicone. So we'll use this. It's called Ultima. So we'll go all the way around the window with a very heavy bead, and when this sets, even while this house sits unfinished and we don't have the trim around the windows and it's not caulked, it can't leak. So we'll do that tomorrow. Because it's too dark outside today to set up. We're going to have to set up a ladder. It takes 2 people. So that's it. That's a window framing tutorial. What did we talk about with our sink cabinets? So 36. Comes to here, about 3/4 of an inch from this stud. Then we have a 36-inch sink base, 30-inch window, 3 inches off each side. that window will sit right in the center. And that's it. That's our tutorial for how to put in a window. So tomorrow, we'll set the window, and then that'll be it. So I will come back tomorrow in the daylight and finish up. Thank you very much.